Kendrick Lamar versus Andrew Schultz. Kendrick says in a song, I think it's called Whacked Out Murals, where he talked about don't let no white comedian talk about black women, that's law. Andrew Schultz fires back in response. It pretty much is like, Kendrick, how are you this champion for black women when you've made songs with people who beat up black women? You threatened to take your music off of Spotify because of someone who's abused black women and children. Pretty much saying you're a hypocrite, and also making a joke about how he would rape Kendrick Lamar. So I wanted to hear from Austin because Austin is a comedian. And I wanted to hear, what is your take on the whole, I guess, policing comedians or policing white people? Or is it a both and? Like, should white people be able to say whatever the heck they want to say about black culture or black people?
No.
Or should comedians have, like, some type of grounds? Like, what's your take as a black comedian?
First of all, be funny would be rule number one. Nah, I don't think you should. I think everything is all fair in comedy. Same way when we was talking about Dave Chappelle, what was it, a year ago, I said the same thing. I was like, I don't care what he says. As long as you can say it, cool. As long as you don't say something to hurt people, cool. But see, at the same time, if people start to feel a certain way, it's hard for you to say that they're wrong for feeling that way. So, like, I also subscribe to what Cat Williams said. I heard him say a couple of years ago that, like, when people would ask about cancel culture comedy and how comedians complain about it, if you can't be funny without offending a room full of people, you're probably not that funny. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I also agree with that. Now, Andrew Schultz is actually funny. I've seen his work. I heard him do podcasts, heard him do stand-up. He's funny. I listened to the clip for the first time. Up until today, I had heard that he said that he would have sex with Kendrick Lamar or force him to have sex, and I was like, yep, it's that weird white boy humor. This is my first time hearing it in context and hearing that he was trying to call him a punk in like a weird...
Still a weird white boy.
Yeah, he was in a weird white boy way. So he basically was saying that there's no need to be scared of Kendrick because he's small. That was basically what he was saying, and I get that. I mean, maybe. But nah, I don't really have an issue with white comedians making jokes about anybody. Now, when your entire act... Now, there's a difference between making jokes about different ethnicities or whatever. If your whole set is you, like that dude that did the Trump rally, I know who that dude is. He does Joe Rogan show. Yeah. But that's his act. I can't separate your entire act from you. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. Now, you throwing off the cuff jokes and saying stupid stuff and putting your foot in your mouth, yeah, as a comedian, that comes with the territory. But if your entire act is racism, then nah, you can't convince me that you're not racist. Nah, I don't think he is. If you asking me. Now, and about the stuff he said, I think he had a point. I say stuff like that about the Kendrick thing. Nobody holds his feet to the fire for that thing, the R. Kelly thing. If you going to be the person that stands up for black women, how can you also be the person that says, I will take my music down if y'all take R. Kelly's music down? How are you going to be the guy that points out the hypocrisy of the light-skinned boy from Canada's crew when people that are around you have done things that are terrible? You've been mentored. You were mentored by Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre on film beating the hell out of a girl. You telling me, like, that was what we was just talking about during the break, and that was what really bothers me. I don't have a problem with people growing and maturing. Speak from that. Speak about how, bro, when I was young, I did run with people, and we did talk like this and talk about people like that, and then I figured something else out. So now let me tell you why you tripping. Not, look at this clown, look what he did. I would never do that. And that's how it's presented. And I've never been a fan of that. That's why you hear me on the opposite side fighting so hard, because I don't like that. You go ahead.
So I hear you on that, Austin. I think also when it comes down to what you want to hear from Kendrick, like because he was mentored by Dr. Dre, like I hear you on that. I think sometimes for me with artists, what you want to hear from him, I would want to hear from him in like a sit down interview type thing. Like like a conversation to like really see where he's at, because music is music. And of course, in this particular, environment that they're in, they're battling at each other. So they're going to say all these things, the point, you know what I'm saying? And sound a certain type of way to make that other person look a certain type of way. I feel
it's fair.
And again, I don't know if it's coming from me being a stan of Kendrick.
Right. This you know what I'm saying? Like you're 100% right.
I want to hear him. I want to hear what you want to hear from him, I want to hear that come from his mouth, because I feel like he is intelligent enough to bring that to us, to like round out the conversation of, yeah, okay, I was mentored by this person. Yes, he has his flaws. I went through this, I went through that. I think in this entire exchange in regards to Kendrick Lamar is we have not heard him sit down and actually have a conversation with anybody.
No.
He is letting his music do the talking for him. And that's what's making everybody make these assumptions, doing all these like essays about him and breaking all this stuff down about what he's trying to say. But Kendrick Lamar has not actually came out and said, yo, I know that this is what it is and this is what it ain't. And I went to therapy and I did this and I did that. And this is where my thought process is coming from. So I think that's what I'm waiting on from Kendrick. So I hear you, but I don't think he's like negating the fact that Dr. Dre did what he did, or R. Kelly did what he did, and he's supporting them. And I put that in air quotes. You know what I'm saying?
The R. Kelly thing is hard to not look at as support. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now the Dr. Dre thing, I'm willing to. You know what I'm saying? You have to get into the industry how you get into the industry.
But he
can't tell Dr. Dre to get out his face when he's Kendrick Lamar from Compton in 2009. You feel me?
But here's the thing, though, man. Like, you can take a stance for something and not take a stand for something else.
Okay.
Remember, two things.
All right, hold on. Before you finish, can I ask you this? Can you say that you're gonna protect black women and you know, black women's rights and all of that kind of stuff, and then do a song with somebody that's convicted of being a rapist?
Who is that person?
He put Kodak on his last album.
Black?
He put Kodak on his last album, and people were upset, and it slowly went away.
Yes, I do believe, because for some people they're not looking at the same thing that you are, right? Like, we're all flawed individuals. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory.
And real quick, how music works is we don't know how far along the verse came.
Well,
we don't know how far along when they did it. You're right, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying?
And Kodak been fighting rape charges for the last 3-4 years.
Okay, go ahead, X. I'm sorry.
And I also think that just because a person has a past or an issue does not negate them as a human being and not want to use their artistry. And you don't have to choose to follow the path that everyone else is following. You can choose to chart your own path.
Social media wants you to do everything on this side anyway.
Yes, and so he is a leader. So he's going to lead.
He is a leader.
And we may not always agree with his leadership qualities. Everybody didn't agree with Martin Luther King. Everybody didn't agree with Malcolm X.
Nope.
Everybody didn't agree. Any leader, they don't agree with Tamika Mallory. They don't agree with Jesse Jackson. Al Sharpton, any new or old leader, no one agrees with always the path. Jay-Z, they don't agree with any of these people. However, even Drake, people don't agree always with them. So, Cole, we can continue.
No.
The point is that if you choose to stand on something and you're standing 10 toes down, this is what DJ Head said, and I gotta give him his props because I agree. Like, if you're gonna make a joke, Andrew, stand 10 toes down on whatever's gonna come with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's a clip where he's talking about death threats coming. We'll play that in a minute too, about his family and stuff. And I don't condone any of that. But he also says, I understand this is a part of the game that comes with social media. Yeah. Right? When you sit there and put something out, just like Kung Fu Kenny, if he sit there and say, look, we gonna whack out whoever or slide on whoever, you know, what do you say on I'm starting to see spaceships on Rosecrans. I'm way too important to let you ever slide on me again. Like, I'm never gonna let you get a one up on me. I'm gonna take you out before you take me out. I'm going to war. We in wartime. Whatever his thing, because the battle is over. The battle is over. He won. Whatever. People are still talking about it and stuff, and that's fine. Yeah. If you're gonna stand on that, then stand on that, and that's what he's doing. But I also think we got to give it. We was talking about Van Lathan on the break.
Yeah.
I got to bring that point up. Van Lathan said that whenever a white person is having to be held accountable for something that they say against us, they always try to negate whatever we said by disproving that we are not pure enough, or we are not black enough, or we there's some hypocrisy in us to be able to make our stance. And I feel like that's a good point, and I don't agree with that. Like,
I got the other side.
Just because I may have some flawed things in my nature does not negate what I say. You cannot like the messenger, but the message can still be true. You still are effed up for saying this. You know what I'm saying? And you need to either apologize or be held accountable or accept the repercussions going to come from that. And just because you go look into my history and my path, and I've done some things that may be questionable or whatever like that, don't mean that what I'm saying is wrong. And you trying to put all rappers into the category like, oh, rapper in general has never disrespected. Well, we ain't talking about rap. We talking about me. If you gonna come to me, don't bunch me with the rest of them, because B's and H's ain't nothing but tricks, and I know I'm messing up the line. I'm sorry, Snoop. Whatever line, that may be true, but he has also been a person who has always tried to empower by not only his words and his lyrics, but also by his actions. Right? I can't say the same has been said to be true about you, sir. So just because, yes, I may stand with another black man that I don't want to see go down, or yes, I may have been ready to go to war, or yes, I may have stood alongside some gangbangers and stuff like that, and some people who've done some very questionable activities. If you go to Section 80, it ain't about what is presented like. No, it's not. It's about if I'm a man. And this is how I stand. If I'm a man and this is how I stand, I don't give a dang how I'm presenting it. It's a fact is a fact.
It does matter. Okay. It does matter. Presentation matters. You can't decide that presentation doesn't matter.
Why?
Why does presentation matter?
Why? No, it don't matter.
Okay. Presentation doesn't matter.
Austin, if you are a person who stands on principles and values, right? You are a flawed individual. Right. You have imperfections. That doesn't mean those principles and values still don't remain true.
Okay, so pause right there. Pause right there. Why does that not apply to the other side? Yes, that is my whole problem. I hate that that's only a one-way street. If that's true for us, why is it not true for all?
It's true for all.
Look, if that's true for white people, why is it not true for black people? I get sick of that.
It's true,
bro. Listen to what I'm saying. I see we gotta go to break. It's fine. We'll go to commercials.
Did I say it wasn't true?
I'm not saying that you didn't say that. I'm saying that's how it's presented
we're not
societally.
Okay,
bro, this is me. Listen to what I'm saying.
One at a time, boys. One at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
You just said he understands the internet, right?
Right.
So what do you think he's getting on his side? Do you think he's getting this nuanced argument that you just made?
No, because most people
So what do you think he's getting? Tell me what you think he's getting. Do you think he's being told?
Talking about Kendrick?
Do you think he's Kendrick? No, I'm talking about white boy.
With Shultz, okay.
Yeah, what do you think he's getting? What's the other side of the coin? What do you think he's being told? You don't think he's being told that he's like this piece of garbage, this racist dude, this terrible person?
Sure.
You don't think he's being told that? So he formed the argument to combat that, which is this person that you telling me is perfect is not perfect. That's a normal response to that. I don't think that's some pseudo racism thing. I think that's a normal thing. I'm not just talking about the internet. I'm talking about just in general. When people do this, it's because they like people. Just like I said about academics or Meek Mill, there wasn't an uproar because they're not liked. Kendrick is liked.
Okay.
It's that simple.
It's
that simple.
Okay.
We don't have to dress it up and make it these different things. He is someone that is looked favorably upon the community, and especially the conscious community, who are also considered smart black people. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're absolutely right.
We view conscious people as smart people.
You're right.
He is looked at as that. He tried to highlight the fact, hey, Mr. Conscious, while all of y'all were upset, because just like I was upset, y'all were upset about that R. Kelly stuff. We just didn't know about the Kendrick thing.
Mm-hmm.
While all of us were upset, Kendrick was fighting for R. Kelly. How can he tell y'all that he will die for black women when he don't care about this one? That is a good argument.
It is.
I get sick of us having to ignore stuff because people bro, he's not supposed to be perfect. Nobody's supposed to be perfect. I know that. These are rappers.
These are humans.
Exactly.
They're people.
But more than that, they are people that put words together well.
Yeah.
I don't need them to be perfect. I like to know the flaw. Bro, if people would stop hiding their flaws and trying to curate these perfect images of black of the berry, sweet of the juice, I've never done anything wrong.
Who's doing that though? Who's doing that in this scenario?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
That whole thing, I'm not sitting here, and I know when you hear the black of the berry thing, it gets your nipples hard. I'm not talking about it like that, bro. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about too. You don't like how I just said it, but you know what I'm talking about. Now say I'm lying.
I hear what you're
saying. Say I'm lying. I'm not done. So say I'm lying about my point.
They say it right.
I'm in the moment. It's hard for me to say it right. What I'm really saying is, a lot of these artists know that if they pander to black, not even if they really respect black women, and then I'm talking about Kendrick, because I honestly believe Kendrick is a good person. I think he cares about black women. I think he cares about his family.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like that.
A lot of these artists hide behind that guise of I'm this conscious guy that cares about black people, and they really don't. They just care about themselves, and they present it in this way like they care about the community and how they'll do all these.
Can
things.
you give me an example of somebody else?
Give me some examples
other than Kendrick. Who else is out there?
He said he's not considering Kendrick.
Right. Yeah, I don't consider Kendrick one. I'm trying to think of off the top of my head an artist like that, and I really can't. But every time when I've seen it, it's easy to highlight. But for some reason, I can't think off the top of my head.
So is it really happening?
Is it really happening? I'm gonna ask you. Are you? Hold on. No. You just said it like I'm talking crazy. Are you about to sit here and say there are conscious rappers that present themselves as conscious that really aren't?
I think that every conscious rapper that I can think about actually cares about the people that
so all conscious
their actions have to be louder than their words.
I didn't say all. I said the ones that I'm thinking. So I'm thinking about Common. I'm thinking about Talib Kweli. I'm thinking about Mos Def. I'm talking about Chance. I'm thinking about.
What's my dude that just got caught up for the Obama thing? Prize. Who was that?
From the Fugees. I can't speak on Prize because I don't think that Prize. I wouldn't put Prize in the same category as one, a conscious rapper, and two, I wouldn't put him in the same category as Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Chance the Rapper.
The only artists I can think of are good. For some, only artists I can think of are like Chance, Talib, Common, Kendrick, Wale.
See, I would have given you that argument if you were just talking about black people. There are certain black people who start to have, again, selective outrage. Yeah. And they start to say,
I think that's true too, though. That was part of my point.
Yes, and some of these black people happen to be rappers. But to say that these conscious rappers are those, that's where I'm like, no, because a person, and again, I'm not going to go back to this because you already said that you're not talking about Kendrick. So we can move off of that.
Kendrick is believable and you can see the work.
But here's the thing. You can point out a flaw. No one is saying, like, let's not debate or not point out a flaw in the argument. That's not the point. The point is just that don't try to negate what I'm saying because I have flaws.
I don't think that's fair.
That's the issue.
I don't
You're
think
trying
that's
to
fair.
say, why not?
But everybody has flaws.
No, what I'm saying is I agree with you. That I've always thought that. I've never thought.
So you're speaking for the other people who try to think otherwise.
As long as y'all have known me, have I ever said don't listen to somebody because
sometimes I don't know, Austin. I don't know.
Bro, I am consistent. I've been like this my whole life, bro. Yeah. I don't care as long as you have not, bro. These are my lines, personal. Austin Malik McCall. These are my lines. As long as you don't hurt a woman for real, and when I say hurt a woman, I'm not talking about y'all have arguments and y'all fight sometimes, and sometimes it get physical. And that's terrible, but that's not what I mean. I'm talking about dudes that beat the hell out of women. They destroy their lives. You can never be around me. And if you touch a kid in any way, if it's not your kid in any way, I'll never see you again. Those are my lines for cutting somebody off for hearing anything they got to say. That's why R. Kelly is non-negotiable with me. But when it comes to anything else, I'm down to hear the conversation. That's why I'm cool with, bro. When even when Drake and Kendrick were beefing, even though I was like, dang, this kind of lame. Did I not say even though both of them were lying, I'm for it because that's what this is?
You did.
But
it's a battle. Yeah.
Fans decided that one side wasn't lying, and that be my problem. That's what I hate.
But
and he played into that because he knew that. I mean, because he knows that so many fans of that conscious brand of music are itching for somebody to go against the other side.
But here's your thing. To that same argument, right? You're dealing with people who are smart, okay? Well, there's a difference between those who are smart and there's a difference between people who are not as smart, okay? So that argument where he played into the narrative of what people thought of whether it was true is the same thing.
The light skin, dark skin narrative.
That same
all
thing,
of that.
But that same thing is the argument that the boy from Canada used in other battles. Okay.
What did he argue about being black enough with somebody? When did that happen?
It's not about it's not about the exact argument. It's about the premise. Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers.
That's not. You're not
you
black.
You can't body by singing.
How is that the same? Tell me. Hold on. No. Tell him that's not the same. Don't make that face. Tell him that doesn't make sense.
I see the analogy.
No, she doesn't.
Hold up.
There is no correlation between that.
You want to know why? Because Meek Mill is supposed to be a street rapper who's not supposed to get offended.
Right.
By, hold on,
Singing.
he's not supposed to get offended by things that are on Twitter. The fact that you're offended by things on Twitter, now I'm bodying you and I'm a singer. I'm not even supposed to be holding a match to you. And now this is the second song I done dropped. And now you getting wiped up. That's not even your tour.
And that's the same as your mom's wife. That's the same as you got a white mom.
That's all I'm saying.
Are y'all serious right now? That's the same.
I'm saying.
That's
I
the
wouldn't
same.
say line for line what you're trying to say, but I can't see the correlation of a light skinned dude, the singer dude. When we see the light skinned boys are the ones who be singing, and then Meek being a gangster or being a gangster in air quotes or a battle rapper.
His blackness.
Yeah, I can see that.
Identity. We're talking about identity.
And that's your identity.
We're talking about identity.
Yo, this is crazy. Y'all are comparing being tough to being black.
You don't think
that's not the same?
You don't think?
Come on now, that's definitely a part of the culture, though. That's definitely a part of the culture.
You don't. Hold up, Austin, you're a smart, black, intelligent.
That is a part of. That's always been a part of the culture.
You're a smart, black, intelligent man, right? You don't think that some people who are especially a part of street culture, don't make them synonymous?
What do we call those people?
To be black is to be gangster.
What do you usually call that kind of person?
I just call them.
You call them ignorant, X. That's what you call them.
Okay,
but the reality of it is, if you're a man, okay, the boys that are growing up, and if you cry, don't cry. You know what I'm saying? You weak, tough. or if you talk appropriately, or you talk like you're educated, or you sound like a white person, you sound white. Like it's damn near the same.
And exactly, and what's that? An attack on their blackness, right?
On their identity.
Because they speak properly.
Correct.
That's wrong.
I'm agreeing with you.
So I thought it was
that's
wrong.
still a part of the. But that's still a part of the culture, though. Yes, it may be again as X. Two things can be true, but that is a part of the culture always. Whereas black people has always felt like we have to be tough. Of course, we already know when it comes down to shooting somebody down or going to jail or getting the teardrops on the eyes. All of that are accolades in the black community.
Pause right
all
there.
of that is being tough and having an accolade in the black community.
That's
Unfortunately,
fair.
It is unfortunate, but that's the fact of the matter in our society and in our community.
Okay, so look, that's fair. We have an educated, conscious rapper using it as a narrative. How are y'all okay with that? The person that we no. Everything was rhetorical. Everything she just said was true.
Okay.
Everything that she just said was true.
Okay,
that's 100% true.
Okay.
So why is Kendrick Lamar, who is enlightened, who's smart, using it for a battle other than to?
It's a battle. It's a battle.
It's a battle
about.
You asked me how he was pandering when we started this. That's how he was pandering.
Okay.
Now tell me how that's not pandering.
Okay. So you're
doing something you know is ignorant, something you know is stupid, just because you want to appeal to people that you think is stupid. How is that right?
Austin, is this not entertainment though?
It's not entertainment when you get on a record and call somebody a pedophile for real.
Oh, so you here for the suing?
Oh my God, he's not suing over that.
Here's the thing. This is where I would say that a person in a battle will use anything to make
that's hip
hop. So call it what it is. I told you I was fine with that when they did that, didn't I?
Yes, but I'm not saying that. I'm not. But we can disagree on the fact that I don't believe it's pandering to use a person's ammunition against them. I'm not gonna say that's pandering.
Bro, if Kendrick would have came out and said, "Bro, we was just talking. This is a battle," I would have been 100% for it. He hasn't, and he's not going to. You know why?
Who did? Who does in a battle rap though? Who does that?
Years later,
but who does that up front? Disclaimer: we just talking. It ain't true. Come on now. Who does that?
I'm pretty sure 10 or 20 years, if they ever do,
it's not even gonna be that long.
If it's a Jay-Z and Nas type of situation, they'll sit there and be like, you know what, whatever, like that. Do I believe that Kendrick believes that Drake is a real pedophile? No. But did he have some questionable moments?
Does he think he knows?
Was there some questionable moments with some girls that were probably younger than they should have been? Yes.
I can't even that.